Ooh, what's going on, guys? I'm Jake, the offensive gamer, and this is Sherlock Holmes: Crimes and Punishments, or is it Crimes and Punishments Sherlock Holmes? I don't know. Who gives a shit? I've been mentioning, periodically how I was keeping track of this game, and I was really wanting to try it out. And this is one of the two games between this and Shadow of Mordor, where I'm gonna try both out, and one of them is going to be the predominant one that I post for the upcoming week or so. The other one's just going to be one in the background that I, post every day or two. But I've played probably about 20 minutes of this so far. I didn't want to go too far into it, and I gotta say, I have actually enjoyed this quite a bit. I was a little skeptical just because, anything that has like such a brand name like Sherlock Holmes or anything like that, that diverges from a TV show or a book or a movie, I always get nervous about it just because, so often they tend to be failures. But this game, I've really enjoyed so far. And evidently there were quite a few Sherlock Holmes games before this. I haven't played any of them, and I think that there was some case regarding Jack the Ripper, and I think there was one before that even. Like I said, haven't played either of those. Really, the only familiarity that I have with Sherlock Holmes in general is regarding the BBC show, Sherlock with Benedict Cumberbatch and all that. Otherwise, I haven't watched the Robert Downey Jr. crap just because I hear that it's just terrible. And I haven't watched that NBC show, or is it Fox or whatever? I don't know. And I haven't read any of the books. So take that as you will. If you're a huge Sherlock fan, I'm probably not the person you want to watch for this, just simply because I really am ignorant of a lot of the, really source material kind of stuff, which I've been led to believe is kind of what this game bases itself off of, the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle-based sort of writings and all that. Something else I should also say right before we start up, I know I'm kind of rambling, but I'm going to take my time with this, and I'm going to do one case per video. So each one's probably going to be about an hour, which is what I believe each case's length is supposed to be, roughly. So I hope you guys enjoy sort of, that kind of immersion type Let's Play, because that's what I'm kind of going for in this one. So let's go ahead and get started. That was an interesting introduction to this game. So I guess the first case is called The Fate of Black Peter, and yeah, let's go ahead and get started. You crazy motherfucker.
Holmes! Holmes, will you stop that?
Wouldn't that be an interesting introduction to the game? Sherlock just kills Watson.
Stop, Holmes!
Is that you, Watson?
Yes, of course it is. And you almost killed me.
Nonsense. I was aiming for the vases.
Blindfolded?
Watson, quiet, please. I'm trying to concentrate.
I'm assuming Lestrade has OCD.
Ah, Lestrade. What is it this time?
He can see me. Well, here it is, and it's a good one, Mr. Holmes. A gentleman by the name of Peter Carey, also known as Black Peter, has been murdered.
A sailor, most probably.
What happened here?
Oh, Mr. Holmes, how could you?
It's the only exercise I've had all week. A grateful client from Limoges sent me a vase collection this morning. I couldn't think of a better use for it.
You're out of your mind.
I missed 4 out of 10.
Given you were blindfolded, that was very good. Can I have a try?
No.
Am I the only sane one here?
I suppose that Watson is right, Inspector. A little brain work would be preferable now. Do please tell us more about Black Peter.
Peter Carey, born in 1845 and 50 years old. An ambitious sort, he achieved much success in seal and whale hunting around Scandinavia. Retired in 1884 with a small fortune. He invested his money in a property called Woodman's Lee, near Forest Row in Sussex. It was where he lived for 6 years, and where he was found dead yesterday.
Has the investigation already begun?
Yes and no. In fact, this crime is so mysterious that I would prefer you to join me down there.
Give me half an hour to prepare, Inspector.
Take your time and join me there. I have to go through the yard first. The merry men struck again.
What have they done this time?
They robbed a powder reserve. I'll meet you at Woodman's Lee, Mr. Holmes.
I should help Mrs. Hudson here. I also have several appointments that I must keep this afternoon.
I shall go alone, then.
So, Black Peter, eh? Sounds like a porn star. Okay, so let's take a look at our evidence. Profile of the victim, Peter Carey, also known as Black Peter. Born in 1845 and so 50 years old. He achieved great success in whale hunting in Scandinavia. Retired in 1884, eventually moving to Woodman's Lee. Tasks we have: Fate of Black Peter. Inspector Lestrade pays a visit to Baker Street where he relates to Holmes the grotesque affair that involved the former captain known as Black Peter. So I got to investigate the murder of Peter Carey and inspect the crime scene at Woodman's Lee. And, you know, on a lighter note, select a suit to wear using your personal wardrobe and join Lestrade at Woodman's Lee. So, let's go ahead and go into Sherlock's room, and we'll pick out a suit. Because I don't imagine going in my morning gown would be the smartest of ideas. I enjoy the light suit, personally. So I think I'm going to go with that one. And I'll go ahead and take a look at the makeup table real quick. Most of this stuff is actually locked. Actually, as a matter of fact, all of it is, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So, can't really access that shit right now, unfortunately. No. Wait, hold on a sec. Can I? Some makeup options or the costume you have currently equipped are not available at the moment. Yeah, okay, fine. You're no fun. Okay, so we have to go to the Woodman's Lee now. First of all, let's take a look at some of this stuff. We got encyclopedias.
I can always consult with it, if needed.
Letters, newspapers, all that shit. God damn it, I keep on getting stuck on stuff. We also have our, what is this? Analysis table.
Analysis table. It is useful for my work.
And we have some other thing that I don't really give a shit about anymore. Alright, let's go to Woodman's Lee. Sorry if you hear the occasional kind of bumping and shit like that. Just rearranging myself in my chair and whatnot. Gotta open the casebook real quick. Nothing important. Don't care anymore. There's a lot of carriage riding in this game, by the way. You tend to, at least what I've noticed, you tend to go back and forth quite often. So there's a lot of that. Essentially kind of a replacement for a loading screen.
Mr. Holmes, I'm over here. Come on.
You know what? Actually, fuck you, Lestrade. I'm gonna go take a look at the garden. Because there are things that are important.
It seems that the garden was well maintained.
There's also this feature that's kind of like a detective mode, essentially. Concentrate your attention on finding details that others are inclined to overlook. I've used this a little bit up to this point because I've been curious as to how it works, and so far it really hasn't revealed very much for me. I would assume, considering it discolors everything, that it's supposed to, like, point out the things that are important by coloring them. But it hasn't really done that, honestly, throughout the 30 or so minutes that I've played. It kind of just keeps everything gray, so I don't really see the point in it. And regardless, I probably wouldn't be using it, you know, no matter what, just because I feel like, and it's just a personal preference, but I almost feel like it's kind of cheating. Only, like, when I'm really stumped, like, really, I've just toiled over it for minutes and minutes and minutes on end, and I need to figure it out because, you know, I'm doing a fucking Let's Play. But, you know, like, I think, what was it? L.A. Noire did something similar to this, except they had, like, a intuition sort of thing, so you had to actually earn the ability to find these sort of hints. So, yeah, just on my own, my personal thought on it, I don't really like to use it that much. So I'll probably just be going for more of a realistic detective thing for the most part.
My husband's body. It's sacrilegious to leave him here like this.
As soon as we can, Mrs. Carey, I assure you. Allow me to introduce you to Mr. Sherlock Holmes. He's a detective. No doubt you've heard of him. I'll wait for you in front of the cabin, Mr. Holmes.
My condolences, Mrs. Carey.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
Alright, let's develop a profile on you real quick. There's some things and stuff that you have on your body that make me, or tell me that, you know, little things about you. So you got a cameo, Catholic rosary, something on the book, crested tit. Okay. Gardening gloves and birdhouse. I know everything that I ever would need to know about you as a person now.
Madam, can you tell me if you saw or heard anything unusual upon the night of the murder?
At 2 o'clock in the morning, I heard a terrible scream. But I thought nothing of it then. He would scream all the time when he was drunk.
I think that that's kind of a problem in itself.
Can you please tell me what occurred on the evening of the murder?
Well, Peter got drunk in the evening. He was in such a terrible temper. Usually whenever that happened, he'd stay all night drinking in his cabin before passing out.
Do you remember at what time you found your husband's body?
In the morning, at around 7 o'clock. I noticed the cabin door was open, but I didn't go in to take a look, for I knew my husband would not have liked it. At around 10 o'clock, I dared to glance in through the door and... oh dear.
Did he have visitors?
Was your husband accustomed to receiving visitors?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I mean, he didn't really have many friends. We lived quite an isolated life here, after his retirement.
The garden is very large and well maintained. Do you employ someone to look after it?
It is true, there is a lot of work, but my husband took care of it himself.
You have indeed suffered a great loss, Mrs. Carey. Nevertheless, I believe it will be less of a burden for you soon.
Yes. Life with Peter was never easy, but he was still my husband.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Oh my goodness, but how do you know about that?
Oh yeah, I remember this. I feel kind of cheap just because I know the answer because I've already gone over this, but for the sake of pretending that I'm going into this blind, I wonder. Judith Carey is a woman with an uneasy life due to her unhappy marriage with Peter. She's a very religious Christian Catholic woman who undertook a St. James Way pilgrimage when she was young. Pretty much the only information that you really have to go off of regarding her in your evidence is about her pilgrimage. What Kept Garden has nothing to do with it. That wouldn't matter. Profile of the victim, she's not the fucking victim, so you by default it's pilgrimage.
You undertook a pilgrimage to the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela when you were young. That much is evident from the rosary in your hand. The shortest route for the pilgrim from England to Spain is from Plymouth. I believe that you met Peter Carey as a young sailor there, and you married him soon afterwards.
That is indeed what happened, Mr. Holmes. How extraordinary.
Thank you, madam.
Yes, thank you for complimenting me on my abilities to just read you as a person, overall. You're truly transparent and not interesting whatsoever.
Peter
So.
Carey's body is inside the cabin. We took care not to touch anything.
The door is locked.
Wait just a moment, Mr. Holmes, and I'll open it. I locked it yesterday to ensure that no one should enter the cabin and tamper with the evidence.
Ah, good thinking.
Hello, hello, hello.
What is it, Lestrade?
It seems to me that someone has tried to force it, Mr. Holmes.
Let me see.
Let's take a look. Oh yeah, that's right. This part, I guess, the detective vision served a purpose. Yes, it's a door. That's a door lock.
These scratches are fresh. You're right. Someone tried to force open the door.
I swear these scratches were not here yesterday.
Our mysterious visitor came here last night.
Well, he's not the man for the job. This lock is not a difficult one.
Perhaps he did not have the right tool. What a terrible way to die.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, assuming there's a good way to die. Fuck it. Whatever.
The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Peter Carey was her captain. Peter Carey's boots. They look to be a size 8.
Yep. They're mine now.
Old navigation instruments. Nothing interesting. Harpoons for hunting whales.
You know what, actually, I'm starting to reconsider myself, and what I'm going to actually do, as opposed to these, like, you know, hour-long videos, just for the sake of being able to output more at a time and being able to divvy it up, because I don't imagine many people would want to watch an hour-long video. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to record for probably about an hour at a time. No outros or any bullshit like that. I'll just cut the videos off, and they'll probably be about 20 minutes or so each. Just seems to be a better way of going about that. Just my personal thought process on it. If anybody has any critique, or if they prefer there to be an hour-long video of some sort, I might do one, you know, or two. But for the most part, I think that's actually how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to completely rescind everything I said at the very beginning of this video, because I'm not reliable as a Let's Player.
The tooth of a sperm whale. Probably
Sperm.
from one of Peter Carey's catches.
Get it? Alright.
Dundee.
You can read. Congratulations.
Hammerfest. It's a whaling map.
Okay, we have a whaling map. Let's take a look at the table.
Someone drank from this glass recently. The initials PC have been crudely burned. A sailor's work.
Alright. Let's open that bitch. What's in here? Oh, fuck, I hate
This
this.
aroma is familiar, but to recognize it, I must construct my associations in one picture.
Alright, hopefully this won't be as annoying as it was last time, but for some reason I did have a bit of trouble with this. Like, I knew what it was pretty much immediately, and I understood it. Just the sound effects themselves can pretty much indicate to you exactly what the fuck this thing is, but nonetheless, it's still incredibly annoying. Alright. Let's try to just ever so slightly. No, I gotta flip it. Alright, so first off, I gotta flip this thing. I'll line it up just perfectly. You gotta, if you're coming here for a walkthrough, you're curious how to do this. From the way I've been led to believe how to do it, is don't just pay attention to this whole thing, pay attention to the lines up here. Because if you don't, then you're gonna have some trouble. Honestly, if you want to do anything, paying attention to the you know, the sail is actually probably more important. You see, this is what I'm talking about right here. Like, it has to be almost perfect, or it's not good enough. You know, and that's kind of annoying. I honestly, I'm like, come on. Like, it's got to be the fucking just most perfect thing in the world. Christ. Alright, there we go.
Yes. This is a coarse tobacco, quite strong and very popular among sailors. Rum, a sailor's drink. It seems that Captain Carey was enjoying a drink before he met his death.
Alright, what else do we have? I think that it's pretty much just this here. Fuck, I forgot to examine the pool of blood. Sea knife.
This blood is from the pool underneath the dead body. This wooden handle is plain and solid. Peter Carey tried to defend himself with this knife, but he did not succeed. J.H.N. are probably the initials of the owner of this notebook. The pattern of the blood stain indicates that the notebook was not lying on the floor prior to the crime, but it was dropped into the pool of blood after the death of Peter Carey.
Alright, something on the back? Possibly? No? Nothing? Nothing? Really? Alright, fine, whatever. Okay, so let's actually examine the body now.
Peter Carey was impaled to the wall by a whaling harpoon. Peter Carey was fully dressed. He was not caught by surprise. It is possible that he knew his murderer. The weapon fully penetrated the body. The force of the blow was immense. This man is in his 50s, yet he still looks quite strong.
You can tell that by his face, that he looks strong. Whatever. Okay, so I think that that's it. Nope.
The Sea Unicorn. She was the ship that Peter Carey commanded.
Cool. Alright, now I think that's it. No? Okay, hold on a sec, actually. Now I'm thinking about it. I don't think that is the case. Let me re-examine this.
The tooth of a sperm whale, probably from one of Peter Carey's catches.
Ah, here we are.
This place is not covered with dust, like the rest of the shelf. An object was taken from here. It was larger than a book, a box or a small chest, perhaps.
Actually, I don't think I came across that clue the first time. Alright, outline in the dust. The outline of the dust on one of Carey's shelves looks as if something had been recently removed. It is larger than a book, a box, or a small chest, perhaps. A tobacco pouch made from seal skin. No, okay, I thought that, like, he would talk. But anyway, which was on the table inside Peter's cabin. The initials PC have been crudely burned into it. A sailor's work. Alright. Actually, hold on a sec. What's this? Okay, Peter Carey was born in 1845 and was 50 years of age. He was daring and successful seal and whale hunter. He commanded the whaler Sea Unicorn of Dundee for many successful expeditions. In 1884, he retired and traveled for some years. For the remaining 6 years of his life, he lived at Woodman's Leap. Okay. Come on, there's got to be something else. No? I'm missing something here. Oh, did I not finish this? Oh, I didn't open it. Fucking asshole.
These abbreviations mean something. But what?
Alright, now I can go ahead and get into that whole thing. Okay, find a pair of related clues and they will form a deduction. Red color signifies an unachievable clue combination. So, this thing is, you know, it's kind of hit and miss in how, you know, I don't know, like, sometimes I felt like putting these 2 and 2 together, or I guess in this case 1 and 1 together, it just felt almost arbitrary and didn't totally make sense to me. Maybe that's just because I'm stupid, but that's just kind of the way I felt about it. So we have notebook, a leather notebook with the initials JHN. It is stained with blood, which indicates that it was dropped into the pool of blood after the murder. No gardener. Judith Carey says that her husband took care of the garden himself. That does not sound feasible. She might be hiding something. Break-in attempts. Several unsuccessful attempts were made to break in, according to the scratches around the lock. Pinned to the wall, Peter Carey's body was impaled to the wall with a harpoon through the chest like a butterfly. Alright, so I'm pretty sure it was Notebook. This one, I just don't feel like there's much of a connection to be made. I don't know. No? Alright. Okay, so it was that one. That was totally just a guess. From here on out, like, a lot of the connections I feel like made sense, but that one I didn't really like too much, in all sincerity. Make an ambush. An ambush must be made tonight to see if the break-in attempt will be repeated.
Someone was here yesterday. They attempted to force the door to gain entry.
Alright, so we gotta organize an ambush. So organize an ambush with Lestrade. The mysterious intruder might return tonight to finish what he has planned. Alright, so let's go talk to Lestrade.
Well, Mr. Holmes, what do you think?
I think that we are lucky.
And why is that?
Because of last night's attempted break-in.
Oof, you've lost me.
It is very probable that whoever came here hoped to find the door open. They tried to force it with a knife blade, but they failed. What will they do? Why, return tonight, when they will be better prepared.
Aha! So what do you propose?
We shall remain on the outside, near the window, where we stand the best chance of catching sight of our visitor. Well, gentlemen, ready your pistols. We have a long night ahead of us.
Ooh. I'm gonna go talk to the old lady, whatever the fuck her name is, real quick, because I think that there are other things I can speak to her about. If it'll load.
Is this your husband's tobacco pouch?
I'm not sure. It might be, but he hadn't smoked in a very long time.
Your husband's private papers. Do you know where they are?
There is a small tin box, barely larger than a book. He kept his papers there. It should be somewhere in his cabin.
Well, it isn't.
Thank you, madam.
They're missing. Where did you put them? I know you did it. I'm sure of it. A woman in her 50s. Clearly, she could pierce a man's heart with a fucking harpoon. Obviously. Had to be her.
We need to find a good place for an ambush.
Yeah, got it.
Perhaps behind Carey's cabin, near the window.
You know, I gotta say, you guys are all pretty fucking incompetent. Like, it seems like, really, Sherlock might as well just be the police department. It's just him. They're always like, Sherlock, a citizen that isn't technically part of the police department. Please help us. We're incapable of doing our jobs.
This looks like the perfect hiding place.
Perfect time for a loading screen. I don't know. That's at least what I've been led to believe through the show, is that Sherlock, yeah, he's not really a part of the department. Maybe it's different with the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle stuff.
Did you hear that? There's someone there. I'm gonna collar him.
I'll be right behind you.
Police! Hold it right there!
Yeah. Put your hands up.
All right, my fine fellow. Who are you and what are you doing here?
You're detectives, I suppose.
Your
You
hands are
imagine that
fucked
I'm
up.
connected with the death of Captain Carey. I assure you I'm innocent.
Innocent? And what are you doing in his cabin?
Shall I tell you? You came to retrieve what you had lost after killing Peter Carey, but we were here waiting for you.
What is your name?
John Hopley Nelligan, but I didn't...
Do you deny that you came here yesterday?
No, but yes, it's just that I couldn't...
I'm tired of this. Off we go to the yard. Tomorrow, I'll see that you're put in front of the judge.
What? But you can't! I'm not... It's a terrible mistake!
Enough. You can explain all of that to the judge. You're coming with me to the yard.
But...
In light of recent events, it seems evident that your coming here was unnecessary. All the same, I'm very grateful to you, Mr. Holmes.
You are welcome, Inspector, but please don't be too hard on our young fellow. I would like to question him tomorrow morning.
I think my coming here was actually quite necessary, because I literally found every bit of clues that there were to be found. Fuck are you talking about? Alright, so let's go ahead and look over some shit. Alright, investigate the murder, blah blah blah. Alright, so what do we have? Peter Carey's boots, they appear to be size 8. Seems like nothing. I think that we got everything. Alright. Fucking Scotland Yard.